100 men versus one gorilla. Okay, so this question has been running through the internet by storm, and honestly, I have a lot to say about this. I have a lot to say about this. So let's start off with, I feel like the parameters around this conversation needs to be set before we could have a true, genuine conversation about any of this, right? Let's begin with one. What is the reason for us to be fighting a silverback gorilla? And is this a death match? Because of one of the things that you recognize, especially with gorillas, silverbacks to be specific, they're not violent creatures. They're not violent at all. They're honestly kind of like us. Whereas like if peace is an option, peace will be taken because they don't like fighting. They do not want to get in a fight. It expends a lot of energy to be out here getting in fights, right? So let's start off with that. I find it funny because that's why you tend to see a lot of in superhero content specifically. Gorillas aren't really like that violence. They're usually just like smart creatures that are like, I'll rather think through all of this than actually like get into a fight, right? But we have a gorilla versus 100 humans. First, what type of humans are we talking about? Because of that was I've had a couple takes on this on TikTok too, if you've seen me over there. The type of humans that we are picking will have to be very specific because there's always a type of man that we will need to be able to do a job like this, because it seems like this is just a drop a gorilla in the center, a random gorilla just wanting to live their life. But if it's a thing where it's a bloodlusted gorilla and 100 bloodlusted men, I think that's where we really need to figure this out. Because of with the men, is it a thing where it's like random? Because if it's random, I will have trouble with seeing the average man, one, being physically strong enough to not just be like complete cannon fodder, and two, they'll need to be able to figure out a strategy and be able to keep to the strategy, right? So we will need men that have a history of being locked in. If we can get army men, Marines, that'll probably be the better case scenario, because of like I've seen a lot of videos of Florida men. Oh, and that's another thing. Is it a thing where we're just gonna have crazy people? Because if we just pull up with 100 crackheads, I think it needs 37 of them, and an 8-ball might do the biscuit, right? or it could be a case of like the type of people that will be needed to be able to understand how to fight an animal will be very specific. Because I just saw a video of this alligator that was just like out in Florida by the car that he was just causing a muck, right? And they had little wranglers coming out to like come get this alligator, but they were having trouble. And then a Florida man jumps out of their truck. This Florida Marine man goes and starts wrestling this alligator, mounts this alligator, and then helps them haul him away. And it turns out he was just a Marine man that just wanted to jump into action for real. So I was like, are we having been like that? Because of like when we start getting through the stats of like what a gorilla is, gorillas are like 6 foot, a good 600 pounds, pure just jacked muscular specimens, right? How are we gonna injure this gorilla? That will be one of my main questions, because of like they're designed to take a whole bunch of brute force. So it might be a thing of like the continual aggression of the wave after wave after wave. Because of like, as we know, gorillas don't have infinite. They do not have infinite stamina. Like we don't have infinite stamina. We're able to take it here and there type of thing. So it might be a thing of cardio being one of the main factors. Because of if we're able to get a group of men that actually want to fight, or at least they're able to continuously keep staying on task and staying on mission, then we might be able to see something nice. We might be able to see an upset of all-time upsets, because of humans have this way of just not giving up. Because like people think intellect is the reason why humans have been able to advance the way that we've advanced. So it's like, yeah, that has been a really, really, really big part of the strength and the bounds. The fact that we've been able to head to space. We've touched the moon. We've been into the ocean. We've done everything. But the main power a human being has is this embodiment spirit. Is this need to be the one? It's that need to continuously move forward. That is what it means to be human. So I feel like that embodiment spirit might be the thing that's able to jump us through the edge a little bit, because I hadn't even really touched on the true strength and the battle technique of a gorilla. Because of with the gorilla, there's going to be a chance that a lot of people just get one-shotted if they are not prepared. So the emphasis on preparedness will be what's needed, right? Because of when you look at the stats, the strongest man, I think they lifted around like 500. I think that's when you start to like max out on like just human strength in particular. But like a gorilla can like bench press if they had to like 1,500. That's like on the lower end, right? So like the pure amount of strength is just gargantuan. Like the space between 1 and 2 is like a valley. It's a huge cave, right? But the emphasis of the continual boxing might be what helps the humans in a scenario like this. I'm leaning more human, but I feel like we will need to have trained humans to be able to do this, because of the first 10 people will get mollywopped. Because of people were talking about, oh, humans, they have the adrenaline to be able to conquer most things. But I'm like, a gorilla got that too. A gorilla, when it comes to like safety, they beat their chest for a reason. They will grab and start throwing, because they can grab a tree and throw a tree. I don't even want to know what it will do to a human body. And not even to mention their 4 appendages. They like all hand. Like this, like they feet is hand. So I couldn't imagine a gorilla going and kicking one of y'all. That's how you get your chest out your body like a Mortal Kombat victory. I could see a silverback gorilla grabbing a femur, ripping out the femur, and using the femur. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. And that's if they're taking y'all seriously. If it's a thing where it's like, you know what, let's test a few. I can see them pooping in their hands and throwing it. And just off of shock factor alone, I think that might move a lot of y'all out the way. I'm not gonna lie, because So yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of things that are happening, a lot of things that people will have to keep in mind when they are trying to get a battle off in this scenario. Because I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like a gorilla will do a lot of damage. That's what I think. So if it's a thing where it's like, because they started asking different athletes how they feel like they would fare against the gorilla, and one of the things that I started to notice, when you get to specific types of athletes, it tends to change very, very quickly, right? Because I've seen a lot of MMA guys being like, okay, it's not going to take much. It's going to take like 10 guys, maybe. But I feel like that's more so because they understand how it works. But I'm still a little skeptical, because it's like, you're telling me you're going to choke out a gorilla? How? Their necks are like trees. So I feel like it might literally just be it's not going to be a damage that we do. It's going to be an exhaustion factor. That's probably what's going to be the best case scenario to be able to defeat a silverback gorilla. If you reached this far, make sure you leave a like, a comment, or subscribe, all that stuff.